is. How quick is this one? So much different. So much different. G'day, guys, to everyone watching live. How are you all? Very, very good. Good to see. So if you're watching it live, this recording is the Geocaching Down Under podcast. If you are watching live, a big warm welcome to you and also those watching us in the replay. So if you're watching us in the replay, g'day. Make sure you come and watch us live next time. Shortly, we'll be starting the actual podcast. But before and after that, we'd love to actually chat with you guys online. So whilst we do endeavour to read all your comments, and we are using a different platform tonight, as you might see. It might be something different to most of you, which is pretty cool. We do sometimes miss a few comments, but remember, though, to stay online after we finish the live show, and then we can actually personally chat with you from there. So, but otherwise, yeah, just chat amongst yourselves. Not a problem. If you guys have got any questions, this is the time to ask questions as well, because we've got a new little feature, coming up now, whereby when you ask us a question, we want to highlight that question, we can highlight it a lot easier. You wait and see. This new app is just sensational. So, with that said and done, let's see who's on tonight. We have, going from the top that I can see, Skatey Rocks is here, and Kim, Spider Monkey's mum. G'day. Scott Thompson, of course, he's here. Gaz Kirsch, mate, how you going, buddy? Dan Truckenmiller, also known as Da Truck, is in the house. I See Nothing is here as well. Jasmine, welcome. Gary, Tattooed Squared is here. Where else have we got? And I think that's all we've got so far in the chat room. So as a few this evening. You do like this setup, do you, Kim? Yeah, it's a different setup. It's very, very new. And you'll see that we'll have some sort of banners that I'll be doing shortly, like this sort of stuff here, see? So, brand new. So this is all brand new to the actual podcast itself. And seeing how this all goes. And hopefully it goes well without too much of an issue or a problem. So without further ado, as always, Pipes Down Under has arrived as well. G'day, Pipes. You're early tonight, mate, which is good to see. All right, we might get started then, and we'll get started on this, the Geocaching Down Under podcast, episode number 12. Stand by. And g'day, guys. Simo Shells here, and welcome to episode number 12 of the Geocaching Down Under podcast, recorded live on this, the 7th of August in 2019. Tonight, we are chatting all about cache quality, and joining us is Firesafe, all the way from South Australia. But a big announcement at first, and it's with a very, very heavy heart that we say this, and that is poor old No Tomorrow is no longer with the Geocaching Down Under podcast, unfortunately. She's off pursuing other things that she wishes to do, and not the podcast, unfortunately. So, yes, that's a bit of a shame. But anyway, it's no good, mate. But things are coming up very, very soon, and you may see someone new in her place very, very soon indeed. So, yes. So also joining us tonight, as I said before, from South Australia, and that is the one and only, also known as Scott. How did I forget your name, mate? It's none other than Firesafe. G'day, mate. How you going?
G'day, Craig. It is Craig, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It is. You bugger.
And hello to everyone that's listening.
Yes. Hey, good to have you here, mate. Good to have you. We'll be chatting very, very soon about you, actually, mostly, but also about. Well, mate, you've been around the traps for a little while, so you know all about cache quality, or what is about cache quality as well. So yeah, that's pretty cool. But first up, as always, we have the geocaching news. Now, in the news, we always start off with the events. So the next event coming up, the next big event, is St. Arden's event in November down in Victoria. That's GC7 DN55. Are you going to that one, Scott?
I was, but now there's a race meeting on at Tailem Bend, so unfortunately I can't make it now.
Yeah, I'm in two minds with that one at the moment as well. I mean, 3 megas in 1 year in Australia is sort of pretty uncommon, but yeah. Otherwise, the next one on the list, I dare say you will be going to, is the GeoVenture 2020 in Millicent in South Australia. GC8. What? Yeah. How are you going to miss on that one? That's in your Chicago. Oh, jeez. So don't forget that one, guys. Millicent, South Australia, GC82DAN, and that's in April of next year. It's the Easter break, I do believe. And then the next big one that was announced as well at the Geomuster last month, or the month before. I lose track of time.
July, yeah,
Is
last month, yeah.
last month? It was last month. Is NZ 2020 over in Auckland? That one hasn't been published as yet, but it is a mega. So make sure you guys place your will attends, register, and plan your geocaching trips now. All right. Other news. What have you been doing, Scott? This mystery at the museum stuff.
Yeah,
How did
well,
you go with that?
it took a couple of days, but yeah, no, it was an interesting way of caching. Certainly not the
Yeah.
normal way, but yeah, there's a couple of ways of doing it. One was to do each one individually and then log it and then move on to the next one.
Right.
That was a lot of traveling if you did it that way.
Yes.
My method was to just find a whole heap of caches and log them in the order they needed to be logged in. Some
Yeah.
people won't agree to that, but you know, they're all found on the same day, so does it really
Yeah.
matter which way they're
So
when
be
they're
it.
logged? Yeah.
So be it. So what I found, because I'm a phone cacher, so I cache purely with my phone, always have, because I've been caching for 5 years now. That's all, nowhere near as long as you, mate.
Yep.
So yeah, I'm used to sort of doing the mobile caching sort of style. Like, I refresh my app in the field and have a look around, and I can do my searches in the field. I log in the field as well. So all that is sort of not really new to me, but I found it was new to some people. Some people spoke about it and said it was quite new to them.
Yeah. And I think this one needed a little bit of planning before you went out too. Obviously, you needed
Yeah,
to grab the caches that you needed to grab the clues and all that in. So,
exactly.
if you, and I'm not sure if they changed it because I didn't get started into it until a week after it started. And online on the website, you could see
Yep.
which ones had which clues. So it actually made it
Oh,
quite easy to plan your day out. But I
wow.
believe from day one that was all hidden. So whether they changed it a week into the
A week into it.
yeah,
See, I very, very rarely do I actually get online, like, at my computer and look at the geocaching app. Like, it's unless I'm doing some sort of puzzles, which is still very rare for me. I don't really do a search and stuff actually online. I do it all on my phone, all on Cashly. So, yeah, that's interesting. I've noticed with the app on the phone as well, it forced you to use the official app as
yeah.
well.
Well, I'm on
So
Android.
you're on Android, you use it anyway, do you? That's right, of course.
Don't
You guys
catch
don't
me.
have Cashly, no Cashly for you.
I've got it on my iPad, but you know the iPad is this big, and you don't really want to take that out with you.
No, bashing through the bush with an iPad that size, exactly.
Yeah.
No, so, no, I use Cashly and loved it, and I loved logging in the field. A lot of people didn't like I'll just say the older ones, or not old, not older. I don't mean old as in age. I mean old as in original caches. Like yourself, who've been doing it for years and years, a lot longer than what I have. You guys, because you predominantly use a GPS, don't you?
Yeah, pretty
Yeah,
much. Yeah.
yeah. And so you couldn't actually do any logging on the GPS, can you at all? Or I
No.
don't know. I don't have one.
Oh,
No,
well, you can, but it's messy.
is it? Yeah,
Yeah.
it's much easier with the devices and stuff.
Oh, it is. Yeah, definitely with a phone for sure.
Yes, yes, yes. So that's the mystery. So I got mine in 2 days. So actually, what did you think then? So you went and got the what was the first one? The detective badge.
Detective first. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I got that. I hosted an event on the first day, so we
Oh,
kind of not cheated, but we we got a head start. And then you got two of the three ones.
two of the threes. Yep.
Yeah, and
Well,
then you had
I
the
was lucky
jewels.
actually. I was at Tailem Bend at a race meeting, and
Yeah,
on the Monday afterwards, I was rather than going home, I thought, well, I'll see what's around the area, and there was about 30 cases I hadn't done around there, and I had a
right,
look
right.
online and worked out, yep, I needed all the ones there and here and there, and
Yep,
got
yep.
them all, and that got me right through to the 22 that I needed for the first three levels.
Right, right. Yep, yep, yep. That's cool.
Yeah, and then you get
And then
that
what happened after
surprise.
that? What's the surprise, mate? Tell everyone what was the surprise?
Oh,
If
that
they haven't done it yet,
35
what's the
extra
surprise?
cases. Oh,
So after you do the 1, the 6, no,
6,
yeah, 6, and then
yeah,
the
15. Yeah,
15. So
15.
yeah, the 1, the
Yep.
6th, and the 15. All of a sudden, GCHQ turn around and go, "Oh, it's not over yet. You've
Not
got to
over
get
yet.
35 random ones."
That's it. Yeah.
I loved that one. I loved it. I loved it.
Certainly was not expecting that.
No, no, not at all. We've actually got a bit of a question here from the chat room. It's Gaz Kirsch, as we can see up there on the screen. Gaz Kirsch says, we enjoyed the mystery at the museum, smashed it in a weekend, 2 big days of caching, and we hit 1,000 finds. Well done, mate. Well done, Gaz Kirsch. 1,000 finds. So they hit a milestone and got all the souvenirs at the same time. That's pretty cool.
It is. That's good way of doing it.
Good, a very good way of doing it. And that's another thing I like about these souvenirs is it changes. It puts people in different perspectives. You know, it puts people outside their comfort zone, maybe not cashing the way they normally do. You know, like challenge caches in general, whereby you've got a goal. So these caches, they set you a goal, and then you go and grab those goals.
Yeah,
So
no, it's good way of doing it.
Exactly. But also we need to talk about. Oh, by the way, that finishes, guys, on the 11th of August. Well, 11th of August Seattle time, which I think is 12th of August for us.
12th of
But
August here.
if you guys can, yeah, 4 days time. So if you guys got 4 days left, if you haven't done the mystery at the museum and got all the souvenirs, you've got 4 days left to do it. Now you can do it in 4 days. Most people do it in 2, so you can do it twice over if you like, if you got that time off. But we've got to talk about the other contentious issue that's been had in the last month. And what was that, Scott? What did you find? Because you went to the OzGM.
I went to the OzGM muster down at or across Wollongong.
Yes,
and
yeah.
They had 35 Adventure Lab caches, which is great.
They did. Yeah.
Unfortunately, you had to use the app. And the app didn't matter whether you're on an iPhone or an Android, didn't really matter. The app was that buggy.
It was so bad. There was so many complaints from that app. It was insane. Yeah. What was the workaround? What did you do for the workaround?
My workaround was done to install and reinstall once you got to weak spot, and I reinstalled the app 52 times for 35 lab caches.
Wow.
Adventure Labs, yeah. And it was just very, very frustrating.
Wow.
But got through them eventually, but geez, I'll tell you what.
Yeah. Well, I found that,
updates, but hopefully they've fixed the problems. I don't know. It'd be interesting to see what they have for the next one.
I'm sure they would have. I'm sure they would have. I mean, the issue for us as well is that they did an update on it. I think like on the Thursday before the mega event, and so everyone updated it because it's coming up to the mega event. Everyone updates to make sure that they get the update, but the update was so buggy it was ridiculous. I went out. There was a new Adventure Lab of the 5 in Mossvale.
Okay.
Just before the mega actually started, and that's when I noticed the issue with the app. And I messaged the CEO and said, "Have you had any issues with the app?" And of course, the CEOs don't know anything about the apps because they're not in charge of it. He's like, "No, I don't know." So we end up, I logged out, logged back in. That didn't work. And what worked, as you said, was you had to delete the actual application off the phone and then reinstall it again. Yeah.
But luckily it kept your position in the Adventure Lab, so you didn't have to start the Adventure Lab.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
You continued on.
Exactly. And then there were some people, I know, for instance, No Tomorrow as well, she had an issue with once she reinstalled the app, the app wouldn't recognize her login details from HQ.
Oh, wow.
So,
I never had that issue. It would always recognize.
But no, that she had that issue. And so I think she tried maybe about 13, 14, 15 times to log back in. In the end, I think she almost threw her phone and said, but she did spit the dummy and said, "That's it. I'm not doing any more of these lab things. I'm just going to go out. I'm just going to go out and play." So that's what she did.
And it's not fair on the guys that have put together the lab caches themselves.
No.
They've done it in good faith that the app was going to do the job. But
exactly right.
Yeah.
It is what it is, and because then it went over the weekend, and obviously Seattle are closed and HQ are closed. It wasn't going to get any better until like the Monday or Tuesday, but by that time it was all done. So,
I reckon update on the Tuesday, which again, everyone's home by then.
Yeah, exactly right. I mean, Gary Tattooed Squared, he's in the chat room at the moment as well. He owns an Adventure Lab series in Port Macquarie, which I've done. And lucky enough, I did it on the old app beforehand, before the update, and so it worked fine. So that's a pretty good. If you're in Port Macquarie, anyone's in Port Macquarie, go and have a look at that Adventure Lab one as well. That's 5 there with a pretty cool ending as well. So that's pretty cool. All right, we're going to.
There's quite a few others that had trouble with the app as well.
Yeah. I mean, everyone did. I mean, a lot of people that are in the chat room at the moment as well. They were mostly at the mega down in Wollongong, and so they would have had a lot of issues as well. So yeah. All right, mate. Well, we're going to speak of the get rid of the, what do you call it? I can't even talk tonight. Jeez. get rid of the news, not worry about the news anymore, and we're going to worry about you. So we're going to go come back, just going to do a little bit of music break, and then and come back, and we're going to talk to Firesafe, also known as Scott, all about himself. And so here he is, guys, all the way from South Australia. What time is it over there, Scott, at the moment?
7:15. So what are we? Half hour behind you?
Oh, is that all? Only half hour? I thought you were further than that.
No,
No?
no.
Oh, that's all. Only half hour. That's all right. So let's start off with Firesafe. What's with Firesafe, mate?
Well, it's back in the day when the internet first started, you had to have an online presence or online login or whatever. And being a firefighter, I thought, oh, Firesafe sounds pretty cool. And so my first internet account back, who knows when it was, back in
Yep.
the late 90s, I suppose,
Yep.
was Firesafe. And basically it's continued on right through every place I sign up. It's always Firesafe, including GCHQ as well.
Fires, mate. I didn't know that. So you're actually a firefighter then?
Yeah.
Wow. You and I can banter all day long in that case then. I wear the blue, you wear the red. Is
Well,
it
we're blue too now.
Are you blue as well now?
There's a funny story there too in South
Oh,
Australia. We used to have light blue shirts, and the
yeah.
police had light blue shirts. So
Yeah.
our chief he thought we need to have a different colour from the police so that
Yeah.
people mistake us for police. So that was
That's
all right.
right.
So we went to a dark blue shirt.
Yep.
And
Yep.
I reckon it was about 3 months later, the police over here went to dark blue as well. So
Oh, geez.
we all got the same colour again. So
Yeah. Yep.
didn't work.
You,
No.
you know why God made police, don't you? So
Well, we call you the blue canaries.
yeah, but do you know why God made police? Because so safaris can have heroes too, mate. So,
I could tell something about that.
so blue canaries. What's with the blue canaries? What do
Well,
you call?
if we rock up and generally the police are there before we get there because they might be in the area,
And
and if
they're
they're
awake.
yeah, and not eating donuts, yeah. If they're lying on the ground, we know there's some bad juju there, so we'll just hold back and
put your masks on.
Yeah, so that's why we call you the blue canaries.
Oh, I like it, the blue canaries. I'd never heard that actually before, but yeah, it does make sense. It does make sense. All right, mate. Back to geocaching. How long have you been caching for?
Too long. I'm not one of the originals. I
No.
got into the game a couple of years after it started,
Right.
which is bad news because I've been all around the world traveling and all that, and of course been to all these countries, and it was all pre-caching.
Yeah.
But no, I signed up in 2002.
Yeah.
Bought a GPS for just because it was a gadget. Got to have gadgets.
Yeah. Oh, we love gadgets.
So I bought a GPS, not really knowing what to do with it, and
Yeah.
I went online, and it would have been probably up in the dial-up days almost back then. And
Yeah.
what can I do with a GPS? And geocaching came up, so I
Wow.
signed up in October 2002.
2002. So yeah, that's 17 years now.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah.
Didn't really get
Next
much
time.
into it, but took a few years, and then took the kids out walking around the neighbourhood because there was quite a few fairly close by, and we sort of got hooked from there.
Right.
And haven't really looked back.
Yeah. So 17 years, your fines must be pretty high, aren't they? Or what do you want now? Come on, mate. Everyone knows their number. What's your number?
Well, I'm about 150 shy of 22,000, but I'm going to fix that up next week.
22,000. So you just short of 22,000.
Yep.
So
So
you're gonna hit your 22,000 next week.
next week, going down to Millicent because I won't be going to Millicent next year. I thought, well,
Of course.
spend a few days down there and do all the caches that are out down there now.
Right.
And that'll get me up to 22,000.
Right. So have you got a particular one in mind for your milestone?
It will probably be the one at the Oval where the mega is going to be held, I guess.
Oh, right. Well, a lot of people have the mega as their milestone, so and you can't make it.
No. No, our son's moved across to Chicago, so we've got to go and visit him, and that's when my holidays were. So we'll go and have a hello.
Yeah. Wow, over in Chicago. How long has he been over there for now?
He started on 1st of July, so he's been a month.
Oh, right. Enjoying it?
He is. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
having a great time over there. So
You don't get worried about him because of all the all the other things that have happened in the news lately?
oh, he's spent a lot of time over there. We've spent a lot of time over there over the last
Yeah.
20 years. So yeah, we've
Yep,
got
yep,
used
yep.
to it. But yeah, you got to be careful.
Yeah, of course, of course. Um, so 22,000. Oh, that's at the Millicent one. That's right. So what would be over the 17 years? What would be your favorite? Do you reckon over that 17 years?
Probably one of my favourites was
Yeah,
a multi-cache, which most people go, really
multi.
multi-caches?
People don't like multis. People
That's
put
right.
multis right down below, don't they? They don't.
Exactly. But this one was a bit of a twist in it. It's over in Austin, Texas,
Right.
and it's put out there by Lord British. Now, Lord British is a pretty amazing guy. He made his money in gaming, as
Hmm.
in video games.
Yep.
So he's a multi-billionaire or whatever. He's the one that put the cache up on the space station, the one on Mount
Oh,
Everest, and also the one down in the bottom of the ocean with the
oh,
he put
that's the same CEO.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
he's got one in his hometown of Austin in
Yep.
Texas, and it's a cemetery cache, sort of, but a
Right.
very big cemetery cache because you go to various cemeteries around Austin to look at a lot of the
Oh,
old
right. Yeah.
pioneers of Austin, Texas,
Yes,
and
yes.
it really needs a local to go with you to explain what's going on because a lot of it is very local centric. Uh,
Yes.
but then you end up on his property. Now his property's huge. It's got its own observatory and all sorts of things.
Right.
And the last, it's probably 300-meter walk through his property.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
adorned with look like real bodies, real skeletons, and
Really?
they've got skin and everything on them. And you go, this, and if you do it at night time, it's got little lanterns that light up and all this sort of thing. And it's,
Jeez.
yeah, he's spent a lot of money doing this, and he's end up
Wow.
at this there's a little building that he's built for the cache, and it's got a combination on it. And you
Yes.
open it up, and it's actually in there. Has got one of the travel bugs he took up to the space station. So he's been up there.
Oh,
'Cause
wow.
when you've got that much money, you can go to the space station. So he,
Jeez. Hard life, mate. Hard
yeah.
life.
So he's got the TB that's been up there. You can discover. And it's even
Wow.
got a penny crusher in there as well. So you
Oh,
can
right.
crush a penny to say you've,
To
found
say
this case. I suppose should tell you what it is.
yeah.
Um,
I've got it here, mate.
Necropolis,
Is it the one yeah, Necropolis of, Britannia Manor 3. Is that the one?
that's the one, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So for people listening, it is GC2B034. GC2B for Bravo 034. Now I've just looked at it, mate. It's got 728 favorite points, and
Yeah,
that's at 75%.
yeah, yeah.
And
No, he
it's
it's a
a
good case.
2-2. Yeah,
Yep,
it's a 2-2. Just people have a look through that, guys. If you are on gc.com, have a look through that particular cache because that cache page is pretty cool as well.
yeah. And just
Streaming through.
the bodies and skeletons as you're walking down, they're in coffins and all sorts of stuff, and you
Wow.
go, "Wow, that looks real." And I'm
Yeah.
not even sure it's not. Who knows?
Who knows, mate? Who knows? And I like the way he's actually got like each waypoint. He's actually got it as a chapter instead of a waypoint. So you got chapter 1, chapter 2, 3, 4, and so forth. I mean, having a look at the cache page itself, it's got 221 bookmark lists. So that's how
Mm,
many people have got it on their bookmarks, their to-do list, their wish lists, their bucket lists.
yeah,
That's
and
amazing.
I'm trying to think. It's probably about a 20 to 30 kilometers from start to finish because his
Mhm.
property's not right in town. Obviously, it's out of town. But
Yeah.
yeah, you go visit a few cemeteries and things like that. Look at local pioneers and find up
Yeah.
yourself at this final location.
Yeah.
And
No, that's
yeah, no, it's really, really well worth doing.
yeah, no, that's really cool. That's awesome, mate. Yeah, yeah. I'll definitely put that on my list now for sure because I'm heading over there again next year. I think February next year, and then maybe in August as well. So, but
Yeah, well,
I'm going to the East Coast. I'll go to the East Coast though. See,
well,
I don't
so
go to
we're going to do New England because we've done all
ah
New England, but we haven't done it caching. So I've got some friends in
wow
Boston, so we're going to spend a couple of weeks in around Boston and do all the New England.
I'm going over to Jersey, New Jersey.
Okay, yep.
So I'll be going a little bit south of you, mate. No, all cool, all cool. So going back now to to you and your caching, statistics and whatnot as well.
Yep.
Up to 22,000, that would put you whereabouts would that put you in terms of ranking wise in Australia?
Well, years ago, I was in the top 10, and I thought, wow, this is a bit of a achievement, I suppose.
Mm.
And then all these people started retiring, and all, I went from in the top 10 down,
Yep,
down, down,
yep,
down to where I am now, which is the 25. So
yeah.
I go, oh, they'll retire, and I'll be able to go off and do what all the other guys do, and I'll catch them up. But
Yeah.
yeah, so currently 25, but I think I'm in the top 10 of those that are still working, if there's such a list.
Yep. So those who aren't working, some of them would be. I mean, I know P. Prass, for instance, he's quite high
Yep.
up there, and he doesn't work. Liz and Bruce, obviously, as well.
Liz and Bruce, yeah, they
Liz and
are obviously king and queen of Australian
They,
caching.
yeah, exactly. Have you been caching with him?
Oh, plenty of times.
Yeah.
And I've got a bit of a story. Yeah, Bruce, you go caching with Bruce, and he'll say, one more cache, and there's always one more cache, but you'll just keep going and going and going, and then until you say you've had enough. Well,
Mm.
one day I broke him, and
Really?
no one breaks Bruce. He's one of those guys that just keeps on going.
Like
And
physically? Did he break his leg or no? No.
oh, no, he said no more, and I'm going, wow, I've never heard this
Oh,
before from Bruce. It was pretty amazing. I was
yeah.
up in Darwin at the time for a conference and had a day off mid-conference, and Liz and Bruce were both up there, so I said, "Oh yeah, let's go out caching for the day."
Mhm.
And it was a normal Darwin day, 32 degrees. There's always 32 degrees.
Yeah.
The humidity was up there a little bit, though. That sort of knocks you around a bit. And I think we got to about 3:30, 4 o'clock, and Bruce said, "I can't do any more." And I, no way,
How many do you think you've done by that time in the day?
Oh, we hadn't done a huge amount, probably at 35 or something like that.
Yeah,
Is it
that's a huge amount for some people.
Yeah, well, not really. Problem with Darwin, there's a lot of micros and,
Oh,
and then they are well hidden and
yeah,
stuff.
and they're not on a power trail. Like,
No, not a lot of
no,
power trail there, just
no,
normal.
you're actually just cashing out an area.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
I broke Bruce. Yeah. Not too many people can say they've broken Bruce, but,
Well,
yeah.
there you go, guys. If you see Liz and Bruce at the next event somewhere, just say to them, Firesafe said hi, and I hope you've recovered from being broken up in Darwin.
Yeah, that
That'd
was
be
a few years ago now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 That's quite good. That's quite good.
Mm.
All right, getting on to this quality of survey. How many? You said you got up to 22,000 fines coming out. Do you have many hides at all yourself?
I have.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think how many it is. Probably about 400, I think, all up.
What?
Yeah.
Jeez.
Well, I got a few power trails on another
Oh,
account, which
so one of those sub puppet accounts.
yeah. Well, otherwise you get a million emails. That's the problem.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so I've got the signal head out of Murray Bridge there that we put up in
Oh,
2013.
yes.
Mega.
Yes. Yeah, I
There's,
know the one. Yep.
there's 90 cases in that one, and
Yeah.
that's been going since 2013 now,
Wow.
uh,
Wow.
and it still gets hit quite regularly.
Yep. Yep.
And I've got another power trail called the Australian Prime Minister's series. Goes
Right.
from one all the way through to our current Prime Minister. That's out of two wells.
Yep.
And there's a Premiers of South Australia, which is in the shape of South Australia, which has got all the premiers, from
Ah.
of South Australia as well. So there's three of my power trails.
But they're on the. You tell me your sock puppet account. Is it called like water danger or?
Oz Firesafe.
No, that's cool, and everyone loves it. Everyone loves it. Number one, everyone loves a power trail. Number two, everyone loves a geo art.
Yeah.
Geo art I think the next biggest, coolest thing that people really enjoy to hide and to find themselves as well.
Well, that's
So,
right.
let's get into.
Had to do the lighthouse, when we
Yeah,
looked at
exactly. The lighthouse down at Wollongong, that was pretty cool. And I actually liked the lighthouse how it had several different aspects to it. So you had Werrigos, you had a multi there, you had some puzzles, you had some challenge caches as well.
Yeah.
So it wasn't just all about the puzzles, because we know some people like myself aren't very good at puzzles. So.
Neither am I, but in the last 12 months, I've done that many puzzles, because
Mm,
of Parkville, Wollongong.
of course.
Mildura's got the turtle, which is all
Oh,
puzzles as well. And
yes, yes.
the last week I've been doing all the Millicent puzzles. There's 90 of those.
Oh,
So
yeah, yeah, of course.
I'm just about
Well,
puzzled out.
did you get one of these at the? I'll try
I
and
did.
put it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one.
There you go.
What we're holding up, guys, just for those who are actually listening to this, is the How to Puzzle Cash by Cully Long. Now, the How to Puzzle Cash, it's revised and updated, and it's the 2nd edition. Now, this was only available at the Oz Geomaster. Did you know that? Like, this was the worldwide premiere at the Oz Geomaster. So, yeah. Did you get yours signed, mate?
I did. Yeah, it's all
All
signed.
signed up. Also,
Yep.
happy puzzling, Cully Long. That's pretty cool. So,
You got the bonus page. I didn't get the bonus page.
Which one's that?
So you got the blank page. I got straight into that.
Some had
a blank page, some didn't.
Yeah, no, I got the blank page one. See, because Bill and Di, John and Di from geostuff.com.au. Yeah, great company they are. Yeah, they're the ones that actually have these. I think they're still going for sale now, I do believe as well. So, guys, if you want your own book of how to puzzle cash by Cully Long, go to geostuff.com.au and John and Di will help you out with that, I am sure. Anyway, let's talk about the actual quality of cachings. So you've got 400 plus hides.
Yep.
You know quality, obviously, yourself. Did you see the actual HQ brought out the survey results? I think it was at the beginning of the year they did a survey.
Was it might have been last year even?
It might have been last year.
Mid 2018 they did it. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So they did it last year, but it did take them a long time to get it together. So we're just going to go through some of those things that are actually most important factors. Now, this is actually probably good for new geocachers as well to listen to and actually work out what they need to do in order to hide. If they're thinking about hiding their very first cache, what's the best thing that everyone sort of likes, all other finders like. So factors that were very important, and this is in order. The factors that were the most important thing were, number one, accurate coordinates. Well, of course, let's be honest. I did do a cache over in New Zealand, and they said the coordinates are out by 20 meters to increase the difficulty. Can you believe it?
I know.
It killed me.
And I've come across a few like that as well. When you just go, why?
Why? Exactly. Why? So accurate coordinates, guys. Make sure if you're going to hide a cache, number one, accurate coordinates. Number two is does not harm the environment. Now, I think the most important part there is don't hammer stuff into trees.
I think that goes without saying, really, doesn't it? You just don't want to wreck the place.
No, exactly. It's in the end, it's our backyard. And look, we all know that rangers and national parks people hammer signs into trees about like not wrecking the joint, but still they can get away with it. We can't. The number three was owner maintains the cache regularly as well. So now this is actually quite a good point for those people who have hidden caches for a long time as well. If you go in and just check on your cache and you go, you know what, I'm checking on my cache today because I'm walking past it, and I look at it and the logbook's there and it's still dry and it's perfectly fine. Put in a maintenance log that you were there. That's right. Absolutely. I'm telling you now, people, because you don't know what comes in on the back end of this when it comes to HQ or when it comes to the reviewers. The reviewers can see those people who put in, the maintained logs. So if you put in that you've just walked past there, log's fine, dry, all ready to go. That's all you need to do, and it puts up your actual quality level of hides. So maintain your cache regularly. Number four was, well, this is actually quite clever as well. The container must be suited to the environment.
Yeah, so it means actually use a container that is not going to destroy itself when it rains or cold. Exactly. Or
so what's the most common thing that comes to mind there? Mint tins.
Yeah. Oh, here we go. Here's one here.
Look at that dirty, manky old mint tin. That's rusty and everything. See?
Well, actually, I actually made that way.
Oh, you did you?
Yeah, to suit a park bench.
But
the park bench got pinched. So,
but the cache still lives on.
But I got the cache back before.
Well, that's all right. Yeah. That's all right then. What I was going to say is people think that I'm against mint tins totally, but I'm not, because there is a place for mint tins, predominantly in a guardrail or somewhere magnetic. So mint tins are good for a magnetic cache that's not in the weather and not sitting in dirt. not sitting amongst under rocks or leaves or any of that sort of stuff, because that's when they get all manky, smelly, and rusty. So anyway, that's my personal opinion on the matter. The next,
That's the other thing too with that is
yeah,
don't put a nano in the bush.
yes,
You know,
yes. Although some people don't mind a nano in the bush.
oh,
Let's be honest. um, the other thing is number 5 is accurate difficulty and terrain levels. So the DT rating must be accurate as well, that's very important, because there's people out there that really do. When you think about it, I'm at work, well, not my work, but say for instance, I was an office worker and I'm in, long pants and work shoes and a suit and tie. I'm going to be looking, if I got spare time for an hour, I'm going to be looking for a 1.5, 1.5. I don't want to get dirty. So that's what I'm going to be looking for. So if
yeah.
someone puts it at 1.5 and it's actually a 3, oh,
Well, I did a Freddo one it was a couple of years ago now, and
mm,
it was listed as a 1.5, 1.5, and I thought, "Oh, yeah,
yeah,
I'll go with that." It was up a hill that was that steep, and, you had to use the fence to pull yourself up and all that, and got to the top of the hill, and got onto Freddo afterwards, said, "What's this 1.5, 1.5?" He said, "Oh, yeah, I just wanted to make a bit of a challenge for you." "Oh, you're right."
yeah, but put it correct. DTs are important, people. They are
Yeah,
important. Trust me. Um, number 6 is well hidden from non-geocachers or from muggles.
yeah.
So that just pretty much stands to reason. Let's be honest. I mean, we don't want to have to replace them all the time. So,
Oh,
and
that's right.
they will go missing.
Yeah.
Like people pick stuff up. Um, a quick story about that was recently in New South Wales. There was a council cleanup of sorts, like one of those volunteer groups did a massive big cleanup amongst the sand dunes down in Sutherland, and they picked up an actual container cache, and it was a regular size cache container. Luckily, the person, brewmaker, was the CO. He put in one of those notes inside, the one, "This is official
Oh,
geocache," blah 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 blah. So he put one of those notes inside the geocache. Well, the lady who was going through, because they go through all the actual rubbish that they pick up to see what's recyclable and what's not, which is pretty cool. She picked this container up and actually opened it and had a look. And at first, because there's all the toys and knickknacks, she thought it was, some kids, toy box being thrown out, until she saw that note. Well, then she's contacted Geocaching New South Wales, as in the group, to say, "Look, what's this about? Whose is it? Who can I give it back to?" Well, he's got it back now.
oh,
So, he's going to go and place it back again. So that's pretty cool. So, yeah, make sure they're hidden. Number 1, hidden from non-geocaches, because even the most well-hidden caches can go missing from these people that are cleaning up the environment.
oh, yeah. Yeah, they're doing the right thing.
They are exactly right. Absolutely. Number 7 was interesting locations. This
Yeah,
is very important.
very important, and that's
Very
what
important.
geocaching's all about, getting out there and seeing those spots.
Mhm.
Rather than just for the sake of okay, power trails, maybe not so much, but
Yeah,
they've got a
of
place as well. But those ones that is out somewhere, if they're in an interesting location, that's why we do it.
Exactly, exactly. And you're gonna get favorites, guys. Look, if you place a cache where you take people to somewhere that they would not normally go to unless geocaching, oh, you get straight up onto a favorite list from there for sure. I know
Yeah.
I do. If I go to a place and I go, "Man, this is incredible, this joint," and I didn't even know it existed, hadn't have been for geocaching, yep, favorite for me.
Well, I've
So,
got a story from many years ago now. It was just over the border in Murraytown in Victoria,
mhm,
and just right in town there was a block of land with a whole lot of old army tanks from World War II, I think it were.
mhm,
And they're just dumped there. And well, we're not dumped; they're being stored there, but essentially they're dumped there by the owner. And there was probably 150 tanks, and there was a
yep.
coach that was hid in one of these tanks. And
Oh,
so you're going through all these tanks, and you had no idea why these tanks were here.
mhm,
Found the coach, no worries. But then further on from Murraytown, it's a place called Kabowie or Cowbowie or something like that.
right.
And you went down to the museum there, and there was a cache, and that they knew about it. And we're looking for this cache, and someone came out from the museum. They said, "Oh, you're not even warm." And you go, "Oh, great! You're not going to tell us where it is, are you?" No, 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 no. So that's right. We found that cache, and then I asked the question about what these tanks were back in
Mhm,
Murrayville, sorry, Murrayville, and they said the guy that owned the tanks owned the quarry where the museum was. And what he
right.
did, he bought all these tanks after the war
Yep,
in
yep.
too, and he used it to crush the rock. and as
Oh,
one broke, he'd take that one back to the yard and grab another tank and crush rock with it, and that's where these tanks came from.
wow.
And that's go, well, that's, without caching, we wouldn't have even known that.
Exactly.
Now all those tanks have gone now. There's the guy died, the
Mhm.
son's taken over the yard, and I think there's 2 tanks left just as a um, just just for a memorial, I guess.
Memorial, yeah.
Yeah. But then further on from there, we went to another cache, and
Mhm.
it was just out in the middle of nowhere. There was no reason for it to be there until we got there, and there was I think it was a leopard tank
You're right.
was in this property,
Yeah.
and the turret was pointing towards where the cache was on the other side
Oh,
of the road. And in the
yes.
paddock on the other side of the road, there was a train, a full train that a guy had bought from Melbourne after it went out of service. It was going to turn into a B&B. And
Right.
once again, you're out in the middle of country Victoria. Here's
Yeah,
this
yeah,
case. It's just taken us to this spot. You got a tank on
yeah.
one side of the road and the train on the other. And you go,
Exactly.
interesting location, definitely.
That's
Tick that
right.
box.
Definitely, definitely. Well, I'm
Yeah.
just going to quickly go to the chat room for a little bit. Gino's blog. He wrote the worst nano in the bush (inverted commas) we've ever found was a camoed nano. It was tied to a long string, hiding in a clump of trees, and it was well into the woods. Oh, geez, you'd love that one for sure, wouldn't you?
No way. No way.
And at the same time, we have Skatey Rocks, and Skatey Rocks says, Skatey Rocks is only new to geocaching. She says, I have explored more of my hometown in the last 2 months geocaching than she has in the last 4 years actually living there.
Yeah.
So, which is true. It is true. Like, I still remember when I first started geocaching, I started the second week I was geocaching, I took a trip to Port Macquarie, staying with a friend of mine. And of course, I had nothing to do during the day, so I went caching. And I took photos of everywhere I went. And at that night, I'd come back to my friend who'd lived there her entire life. And she said, "What did you do today?" And I'm like, "Look at these photos." And she's like, "Where's that? Where's that? Where's that?" So, yeah, it's so true. It's so true. So, yes, interesting locations, guys. Absolutely interesting locations. The next one, number 8, well written descriptions. What's your take on well written descriptions?
Well, yeah, most of your cache finds, you tend to just go from your GPS or your phone, and you're just going straight to
Mm,
a point. But sometimes you'll go, why are we here? And that's where these interesting locations, if it's got a great description, then wow, that's why we're here. Yeah. Um,
exactly.
particularly, with the tanks and things like that, at least
That's right.
you would have, rather than just being, it's a cache and a tank, you know,
Yeah,
it would have been great to see a description of why the tanks were there and the history
right.
behind it.
That's
Um,
right.
rather than having
Well,
to
the
pick it up from someone else.
Yeah, well, a quick story that happened to me only recently as well is a local geocacher here, Matty RX. His name is great geocaching hider. Like he does so many brilliant like treks in the bush and stuff. But this one he called a cache Dragon's Teeth, and it's just a traditional cache, and it's like in the middle of nowhere. You got to take a dirt road to get there, and there's no other caches around it. And you're like, what the hell? This is just it's a traditional cache. It's nothing. I went out there. I got FTF, ha 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 ha, just because no one else caches around here. Um, so I was getting FTF on it anyway. Where it is, you're in the middle of the bush, and you've got just a dirt road to get there, but you've got these pyramid of concrete blocks, and they're large concrete blocks. I'm talking 5 foot high concrete blocks that are pyramid shaped, right? And so I'm looking at all these concrete blocks, thinking, how the hell did they get here? The whole lot. Then had a look at his description. Well, in the description that he wrote, it actually talks about how these dragon's teeth, they're known as, are supposedly a myth, but they're actually real now, and that they were placed there during the World War, one of the world wars, just if they were getting invaded from the north in Queensland, that they can't have their tanks going over these dragon's teeth.
Oh,
You
okay.
see, so yeah, so these dragon's teeth, they're actually out there in the bush, and Matty found them. So I thought that was pretty. But he had a full description again, guys. In his description, it told me exactly what that was all about.
Yeah.
And again, 100%. Then I get a favorite point, or he gets a favorite point because I learned something. I learned something new from doing this particular cache. So yes, well written descriptions. Number 9 was accurate attributes. People,
Yeah. I don't know.
yeah, I don't know. Some people like the attributes, others don't. Do you actually look at attributes?
Generally not, because if you're working off the GPS or even off the phone, they don't. come out and bite you. That that this is what it is.
Exactly.
If you can't find it, you might bring it up and say, "Oh, it's a night case. That's why we can't find it," or something like that. I don't
That's
know,
right.
but generally, you
I
just don't do it.
No, well, I tend to look. Obviously, I'm there at the GZ. I look around and I still can't find it. So I'll go to the hint, have a look at the hint, of course.
Yeah,
Still can't find it. I go to logs and everything before I go to attributes.
yeah.
You know what I mean? I go to past logs, and then I look and go, oh, it's a tree climb. Like oh, there it is, all the way up there.
Or
So
for a challenge, you've got to have so many dog. I think that
yeah,
was over in Wollongong. How many
it
dog
was.
friendly caches and all that sort of thing.
Yes, yeah, exactly. So there's challenge caches for attributes, but apart from that,
Yeah.
I don't know how that one is. Number 10 was a helpful hint as well. A
Yep.
helpful hint. What's an idea? So what is a hint that has annoyed you a lot of the time? Have you got any hints that have
Um,
annoyed you? Or?
no, not usually. I don't mind the cryptic hints sometimes. I think that
Oh yeah,
rather than out and out, that's where it is. Some sort of cryptic thing.
yeah,
Keeps the brain moving. But
exactly.
um, yeah, I think probably the most unhelpful hint is where it says you don't need a hint. You go, really?
Oh, I know.
That's where I've actually gone to the hint because I can't find the thing.
Because they
You
can't find
need
it. Exactly right. So, guys, if you do not write that in your logs. And I don't think it gets published anymore. If I think the reviewers are onto that sort of stuff.
All
If
right.
if,
Yeah.
if your hint is not actually a hint, don't write anything at all. Leave it blank. That's a good tip as well, because if you look and go, oh, there's a hint available, you get excited because you think, oh, I'm
Yeah,
gonna get a hint here, and then it comes up no hint. Oh man, that's annoying.
it is. Yeah. No, for
Yeah.
sure.
Number 11 was clever or custom container. Now, this one would get favorite points for sure.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Do you have any custom-made containers that you can think of that you've
Well,
built or you've made? Or
well, just looking at the Wandering Heroes, it's not so much a power trail, but it's turned into a power trail of 400 caches now. The original behind that was that you made the container to suit the person it was named after. So
right, yes, of course.
with the one that was put out for me was had a fire truck on it, Firesafe.
Yeah, that's right.
And each one of the caches had a
It's
little
themed.
theme to them depending on the cacher it was actually put out for.
Absolutely.
Now that they've been out for probably 4 or 5 years now, the containers have changed over time and stuff.
Yeah.
But the initial run of those containers, they're all customized or clever containers, and it actually
Yeah.
made it interesting to find them.
Yes, exactly. Mate, just quickly going back to the hints, we've got Tim, Amy, Geo. They've written their worst hint is this: hint
Oh,
at head height is the worst one. That's
oh,
so true. So true. I mean, you've got someone like me. I'm 6 foot tall, and then you got my good caching buddy Brewmaker, who's
mm,
like 3'1". It's like it's where head height, definitely
there
not head height.
there was quite a few around Wollongong way that we went for, and they had that hint, and I'm sure that they're all midgets around Wollongong 'cause they're more like knee height rather than head height, but whether or not
Yeah,
that moved over time, I don't know, but yeah, it's just
exactly,
we're
exactly.
looking
No,
thought was head height, and there was nowhere close.
I
With
do
what
know. I do know a local geocacher down there, Ms. Maz. Her name is. Yeah, she's not the tallest of ladies.
yeah,
Lovely lady, but just not the tallest of ones. So yeah, maybe maybe not. I like it. Very very good, Amy. I like that. Yeah, clever or custom containers. As we said, like if you can try and if you have a puzzle cache, for instance, I'm a very big fan of this. If you create a puzzle cache, have the puzzle name, have the puzzle itself, have the location, and have the container themed and matching together.
yeah,
There's nothing there's nothing worse than doing a brilliant puzzle of whatever it might be, and then going and finding a mint tin, you know?
exactly.
It ruins it. It ruins the whole puzzle, It ruins the whole experience. Now, if you can try and theme this is mostly for new geocaches. If you can try and theme your caches that they're all in one particular theme and it's placed in a location for a reason, then you're more than likely actually going to get favorite points for it, you know?
Yep.
So
No, cool.
definitely. Now this is the other one is fun or challenging puzzles themselves. I don't
Uh,
know. I don't know. What would you class as a fun puzzle?
oh,
Scott?
I'm not sure that I've actually come across one yet. We've got a challenge, a puzzle area, which is
Mhm.
northern suburbs of Adelaide, and Bob from elsewhere, the cacher who has hidden all these caches, and everyone is a puzzle. The
Mhm.
problem with the BFE puzzles, you've got to think what he was thinking in the day that he put the puzzle together.
Oh, yeah, one of those ones. Yeah, it
Oh,
doesn't
and
have any roadmap to it, sort of thing.
oh,
You need roadmaps to these things.
no, yeah. And, we'll have an event not long after a couple of his is published, and he'll be there, and you go, "Bob, what were you thinking on that day?" So
Yeah.
you what he was thinking on that day, you go, that might help me out. But,
Yeah.
yeah, his are very difficult ones. You look at the ones that all the events have been using for their various puzzles, and they are very similar in what they've used, and they're not too
Yeah.
bad, and you'll find a lot of them in that book from Cully Long
Yes, they
on
do,
how.
the Kelly Long. Yeah.
There's a couple of good websites too. Geocaching Toolbox is a good one for working out
Yes.
different
Yes,
sites.
it is. Yes, definitely.
But sometimes there's other
GCHQ.com.
ones that just aren't there, and you go, I know what it is, but I just can't put my finger on it. And
Exactly,
yeah,
exactly. And let's be honest, I mean, I'm just gonna flick through now, Gary Tattersall, that's Tattooed Squared. He's written, "A fun puzzle is one where the answer is provided for you."
yes, definitely.
That would be so true in some cases. But challenging caches, I mean, it's okay to have a challenging a challenging puzzle, I should say, but, yeah, make sure it's solvable,
Well, that's it, exactly.
you know?
It's
It's
the name
gotta
of
be
the
so.
game. You got to find it.
Exactly. You gotta find it, exactly right. There's no use, I mean, we've got a traditional out here that, or up this way in Southeast Queensland, it's been there for nearly 12 months or over 12 months now and still unfound. It's one of those, so what I can gather it may be is an actual real rock, and it's had, like, a hole drilled in it and put a nano
Oh,
in the actual rock, and it's in a rock wall, like one of those one of those, retaining walls. Yeah, so
yeah, we got several like that, and one I got a first to find on years ago, and there'd been a cacher who'd been there for about half an hour looking through. It was in a creek bed, and
mhm.
the rocks were, this good sized rocks,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
they'd drilled out the bottom of the rock, and they'd actually
George.
put a cross on the rock as well on the top, so to make it easier. But
Yeah.
when you got 2,000 rocks, it
You think
wasn't
this
that easy.
do you think the
So,
CO do you think the CO put the cross on, or was it one of the
oh, no,
finders?
no, yeah, he did. Yeah, he did.
Oh,
He said that in the hint, there's a
oh,
cross on the rock.
okay.
But,
Yep, yep. Well, that makes
uh,
sense then.
and
That makes
I've
sense.
been back there a few times since with other people that have been lost, and I've been
Mm.
struggling to find it, and I even know what the rock looks like with the cross in, and
But still struggle.
yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, those it's like needle in a haystack, those sort of things, really, isn't it? It's one of those things. Um, Next on the list is include parking coordinates if you can.
Yeah.
That's that's not bad. That's not bad. I mean, you think about it, we mostly drive to caches these days. I mean, I know someone like P Prass, for instance, Peter, his parking coordinates are actually the GZ location, no matter where it is. Hence the reason why he goes through so many tires and diffs and
Oh,
and scratches and everything else as well. So yeah, parking coordinates is pretty good, guys. Like, especially if it's in the lead to a trail and you got to do a walk of some sort. If you can put parking coordinates there, it just puts people on the right path straight away. They don't have to bush bash, because it's always the way as well. We go as the crow flies. We're gonna bush bash all the way through. You find the cache, and then you actually find the path as you go out. Always the way. Always the way.
and then your car's
Um,
another half a kilometre away.
exactly right. And then you got to walk all the way down through your car. Some people actually get an Uber back to their car. Um, Number 14, and this is the last one with this, and that is the largest container for the location.
Yeah, no,
That is
that's
very important. Yeah, and that's what you were saying before about Nano in the woods. You
right.
know, exactly, exactly. So yeah, um, I mean, largest container. Look, ammo cans. Everyone loves an ammo can. Let's be honest. And if you can't hide something that's similar size to an ammo can somewhere, then yeah, you go down from there. In my mind, what's the biggest cache you found, Scott?
I reckon the biggest one I've found has been a fridge.
A fridge, an actual fridge.
A fridge, yeah. So
Was
it's
it
at
was it in the woods or
um, so it was a multi, and it starts in the Botanic Gardens in Adelaide.
right?
Um, and I reckon it might have even been a Freddo cache.
Yep.
And yeah, so you go to a park bench. There's some coordinates on the park bench.
Mhm.
and you go, oh, it's 20 kilometers away. Great. So, and then when you get to the closest spot you can find, it's another, I think it's about another 2 kilometer walk into the scrub. And
Oh,
here's this
right.
fridge. And you go, wow. So Frello's taken this fridge with a sack truck or whatever,
Trolley.
taken it to the scrub, and here it is. And yeah, so it's that's probably the biggest ones have been.
Yeah. What about what big ones have you hidden? Have you hidden any large containers?
Only one. I've got one ammo can out there. Most of the others are smalls to medium type ones, but
Yes.
yeah, one ammo can out there. And we were lucky actually. Probably going back a couple of years ago, one of our guys here had a contact in the military, and they
Mhm.
had a pallet of ammo cans they wanted to get rid of,
Oh, what?
and he said, "We'll take them." So yeah, we ended up with all big, small, all sorts of ammo cans, and
Yep,
I
yep.
thought, you know what I'm going to do with this ammo can? I'm going to fill it up with film canisters, which I did.
Oh, one of those ones, one of those ones.
Yeah, one of
Well,
those.
I've got a, very similar, but I've got a dryer, like an actual clothes dryer in the
Oh,
woods.
yeah, yeah.
Um, and that one's called, like, How to Keep the Log Dry. Um, same sort of thing though, but I've got 50 mint tins in there.
Oh, yeah, yep.
But this is the difference. Now, technically, it's an extra logging requirement, so you don't need to do it, but everyone does it for fun anyway. And that is 31 of these mint tins, or yeah, 31 of the mint tins have got a log in it. Each log is numbered 1 to 31. You can kind of see where I'm going here. So whatever date it is that you're looking, or that you're finding the cache, say you're finding it on the 5th of the month, then you have to look for the log with number 5 written on it, you see. So
Ah,
all the others have got actual dad jokes written in there instead. So so yeah, there's 50 of those ones. Let's see, in the chat room, there's some people in there like Berry Unicorns. She said that we have found a giant ammo can, and when she means giant, she means giant.
yep.
Then we have the truck. He says he's over in America.
Oh,
I found an ammo can the size of a small car.
oh, wow.
Wow. I think I've heard about that one. I think I know where that one. I think that's on the East Coast, in America somewhere. So that's pretty cool.
Okay. That
That's
one up.
pretty decent size. Um, and Gino's blog. What's Gino's blog say? He says the largest one I've ever found was a giant ammo can, smack in the middle of Tokyo. I can't. Where can you pronounce that word? Where it is in Tokyo?
Uh,
Akihabara.
Akihabara, yeah.
Akihabara in Tokyo. I'm hoping I'm saying that right, but anyway. So yeah, so see, people love the larger size containers. I've also got a 44-gallon drum up here in the Northern Rivers region, so which has got it's all, and I camo paint all of them. So I spray it with the brown, the green, the black, sort of all camouflage as much as I can as well. So, and that includes the clothes dryer. The clothes dryer is all camoed as well, just so it doesn't get stolen. But yeah, again, so with that one, when I placed that one, I placed it in the bushland area. Unbeknownst to me, I didn't check, but it was actually national park, so I had to go back,
Oh,
pick it
no.
back up again, and then go and find a location where it was not in the national park. So I kind of did it twice from there. So
And
yeah,
hope it doesn't get cleaned up by one of the CETOs.
yeah, exactly. One of the CETOs, or a fire that goes through. But in saying that, again, if you hold an ammo can, I've seen ammo cans actually, last a fire if
Oh,
they're
yeah.
hidden
They
in
are.
like little cave areas and stuff. They'll last through a fire, bushfire, which is pretty
And
cool.
that's the problem a lot with the Northern Territory is you can't hide anything out there that's not an ammo can, really, because they've got fires going through there regularly, and if you put anything made of plastic, they'll be gone.
They'll be gone in 2 seconds flat.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly.
But whereas the ammo cans will still be there after the fire's gone through.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. That's right. Moving on because we almost got to finish up soon. If more geocache finders took certain steps, now this is for finders now, how helpful would each be as improving the cache quality? So if you're a finder, what people want you to do, like as in hiders and everyone else as well. Number one, log DNFs. Log need maintenance, and logs need archives as well. So definitely.
Yeah, I've got a maintenance run this Saturday coming because one of
Yeah,
my power trails is had a few DNFs, a few needs
that's right.
maintenance.
That's
Yeah, I've
right.
got 20 of them to look at out of
Exactly.
90.
And let's be honest, as a CEO as well, how do you know that the cache is missing or not if they don't log their DNFs?
That's right.
You know,
Exactly.
all of a sudden, I mean, I've got. Oh, you ready for this? I've got a Nano in, but it's in the middle of Sydney, so it's okay. It's in the middle of Sydney, and it can't be anything else. It has to be a Nano. I know when it's missing purely on the fact that it hasn't been found for a week.
Yeah.
So it gets found like at least once a week. So if it goes 2 or 3 weeks without being found, I'll look and go, it must be missing. See, again, if people don't log their DNFs, the CEOs don't know they're missing. So guys, log your DNFs. Definitely log them. Number 2 was assist geocache owners with minor maintenance like replacing wet logs. Yes. How many times do you get this?
And I always carry spare logs and log sheets with me all the time. And
Yeah,
if there's
absolutely.
mush in there, I'll just replace it. It's not that hard.
No.
Looking at the ones I've got to do this weekend, I've got out of that, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that are wet logs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Could have been done by someone who was out there having a look and finding them. Could have done that. That's right.
Just
I'll go out.
just got the wet or their or what the moist logs. Some people hate that word, don't they? So yeah, definitely replace the wet log sheets, guys, if you can. Number 3 was write honest and constructive online logs. Now, this is a big point.
Yeah.
Yep. TFTC. What's your thoughts on TFTC, Scott?
Well, not so much with that. It's when you get the period, or not even that. It's a space. You can actually now, I think, on the phone, if you just put a space, that's enough to get your log done.
So you can just put a full stop or a space.
There's space, and that's it. And you go, really?
Yeah.
No. I've obviously got the power trolls, and I don't mind a generic log for those because going out there, you're going to get some numbers, and I'm happy with that.
You understand that, yeah, exactly. But you don't want the generic logs of just TFTC. You want a generic log saying, out here with caching with such and such. What a beautiful day. We spent it doing all this whole power trail. What a great power trail this is. I enjoyed the puzzles. That's it. That's all you want.
Mentioning that they're all in good order, or there was a couple of work on them. You go, wow, that'd be great.
Exactly, and that's good logs. I mean, yeah, this is not this TFTC business. It's just it's one of those real bugbears, isn't it? Yeah, exactly. Tattooed Squared also says in the chat room, just the word found. So true. That happens quite often. But look, let's be honest as well. Predominantly, they're new geocachers that write this sort of stuff. They'll write TFTC because they've seen it online somewhere. They'll write found because they don't know what else to write. They don't realize. So this is where invite these new geocachers to an event.
Yes.
And then when you're at the event, say, you did my cache the other day. How did you like it? And they'll go, oh, it was brilliant, blah, 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 blah. And they'll talk all about the cache because they're brand new. They're super excited. And then all you have to say is, oh, geez, next time you write a log, maybe you can put some of that stuff in the log. And then I, as an hider, I get the information. See, sometimes people don't realize that CEOs get notified and read all their logs, they just think that it's a numbers game. That's it in the beginning. So, yeah. So definitely, guys, write honest and constructive logs online. This is a big one. Number 4. Yes. Do not install new cache containers, example throwdowns, without the actual CEO's consent. Now, I've done it before with the CEO's consent, but yeah, not without the CEO consent.
Same, I'll contact with them, particularly if I'm doing a power trail or something like that. I'll let them know that, going out there, do you want me to do any maintenance while I'm there, or, do you want me to replace any that might be missing there? Yes or no, they'll tell you. And
exactly, yeah.
On the weekend's got 2 containers, so someone's put.
How many times have you seen that? There's 2 containers.
Oh, plenty, and all within a meter of each other. Yeah, and you go, on the other side of the rock.
Let's be honest. I'm going to bring up the elephant in the room, and so sometimes the containers, one's GC, one's GCA, but we won't go there. see, no tomorrow's here now, so I got free for all. So yeah, guys, if do not do throwdowns. No one likes a throwdown unless you've got the CEO's permission and it's a good quality container that you're placing down, and you spoke to the CEO about what container that they'd like, for instance, as well. Number
Some
5. Yep.
want, they've got a theme to their containers or whatever, and they want to keep that theme going.
Yeah, exactly right. The themes are good. And then the last on this one, and definitely not least, is award favorite points for good quality caches that you like. I mean, how many people here who've got, like,
Oh,
you get one favorite point for every 10 finds, right? Now there's that many power trails out there that can give you 20 favorite points. I mean, I did my biggest day of 225 caches in a day on a power trail. That's 22 and a half favorite points I've got for good quality caches. Like later on, obviously you give one for the final, but
I got 1,700 favorite. I've been giving them out as much as I can. I've still got 1,700 favorite points to give out.
Oh, gee. Well, of course, with 22,000 fines, of course you're gonna, because that's a good question, actually, because you were around at the time. Favorite points weren't always around, were they?
No,
No?
a relatively new thing. Oh, when I say new, it's probably been 5 years, maybe a bit longer. But and when they came out, everyone's going, "Well, what's this all about?" But what they did is, the day that favorite points came out, if you had 10,000 hides, you all of a sudden had 1,000 favorite points to give out.
Yeah, exactly. So they actually backdated the favorite points.
Effectively to whatever finds you had. That's what you got.
Wow.
Yeah.
So do you roughly know how many you had at the time when they first came out?
Oh,
Can't
I probably
recall.
had 10,000 fines, so I would have
Jeez.
got 1,000 favorite points to give out straight away.
Yeah, wow. And then like, what's the go there? Do you go back and try and remember the ones that you like to give, or you just don't worry about the 10,000 and you start?
I just gave a favorite point to that one at Murrayville with the tanks, because
Oh, right, yep.
I thought I already had, but no.
There you go.
If someone asked me a question about a case that I found, and I'll go back to it. Oh, that was a real good one. Yeah, I'll give that one now.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
There's some people have said take their favourite points back when a case gets archived. That's always been a bit controversial as well.
Oh, yeah, it is. And so people don't realize that if you're a premium member of Project GC, not GCHQ, Project GC, if you're a premium member, you get notified if someone actually removes a favorite point from your cache. Did you know that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
So you get busted, guys. Don't do it. You'll get busted. Exactly. All right, mate. We're gonna have to leave it there. The time's up already. It's been really quick.
it
Yeah,
has.
it has. So thank you so much for joining us, Scott, and really appreciated the chat. Really good. I hope people out there learned a little bit from the actual GCHQ cache quality survey which they did. And go from there. So for next month, guys, what do we have? We have not one, not two, but 3 of our very own Patreons joining us. Yes, that's right. 3 of our own Patreons join us. Now, if you don't know what Patreons is, go. It's a way to support this podcast, because this podcast does cost money every single month. If you want to support this podcast, go to patreon.com/geocaching down under. And I do believe, Scott, you are a Patreon. Good work, mate. I did say that. There's 3 different tiers of levels. You can be a traditional, you can be a multi, or you can be a puzzler. And the support levels start at just $1. That's it, $1 per month. So jump on there, guys, and you too can be a part of the extras that we have, like path tags and TBs and all sorts as well. Plus, we've got our own little special group as well. So jump on to patreon.com/geocaching down under. So thanks to everyone who jumped on to the YouTube live broadcast tonight. And remember, we do record this live in the first week every single month. So make sure that you follow all our social media pages so you don't miss out any of the actual Geo chat itself. If you have any questions or comments, please drop us a line at geocachingdownunder@gmail.com. This podcast can be downloaded on any of your favorite podcast apps very, very soon. And that includes Podbean, Stitcher, TuneIn, iTunes, Spotify as well. So that brings us to the very, very end of this episode. And thank you so much for joining us, Scott. It was a great, mate. We had a blast.
Yeah, no, it was good to catch up.
Yeah, it
And
was awesome.
I was just looking at the chat then. I'm thinking, wow, that moved through so fast. It's very hard to keep up with.
It does, it does, it does. So, guys, from the GCHQ Down Under podcast team, we're over and out now. This is it. And there we go. We're off. So, guys, so that's it for the actual podcast itself. Now we can actually talk to these guys, Scott.
Ah,
So now this is where we actually chat to those in the chat room properly. So that's it for the actual podcast itself. So those people who listen to this in their cars and whatnot don't get this particular part. So let's go back through.
oh, the after show.
This is the after show. That's right. We only have 5 or 10 minutes of the after show. So Jasmine Ward, thank you for joining us. Obviously, Tattooed Squared. So, guys, what did you think of this new platform? The GCHQ Down on the platform. What do you call it? The live feed. I actually quite like it as a host. It's pretty cool. Actually, Scott, we didn't talk about your shirt, mate.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, have a look at this shirt. We can do this. Just look at this shirt, guys. Have a look at this shirt. Now,
there it is.
there's a TV there. I don't know if you can see that. Is it? Ooh. 9 Quebec Whiskey Hotel Charlie Echo. There you go. 9 Quebec Whiskey Hotel Charlie Echo. You'd recognise the
story behind the shirt. There's a guy over in Texas, and he does geocaching maps. And well, he did do geocaching maps. His computer shit itself, so he's just got himself a new one, and he's getting all his programs up and running again. But he's been doing my milestones from 9,000 and every 1,000 from 9,000 right up to well, this is my 17,000. And I think I'm one of the only ones that he's done that every 1,000 thing. And I really need to get another one done, but he's still trying to get his stuff together. But he sends it out as a JPEG, and I normally get it printed out on a full thing. Right. I was actually going to put one up and behind me, but I thought when I got the 17,000 one, there was a place in Hong Kong or China that did T-shirts out of JPEGs. I thought, oh, I'll give it a go.
Yeah.
I designed this with it. It's just all done online, and this is what came back, and it's on front and back.
It looks really, really cool. Let me share my screen with you guys. So this is going to look a bit freaky to begin with. Add to stream. If I can do this correctly, wrong way. There we go. Oh, that looks freaky. But
that's even
there you go. How's that look? Does that look better?
That's better.
So this is what we're talking about here, isn't it, Scott? The map.
That's the map. Yep.
And so we've got around the. Can you see my cursor moving? Yeah. No. Okay. So around the edge of the map itself, you can see you got all your souvenirs, mate.
There is. Oh, I can see it now.
Souvenirs. That's pretty cool.
And actually, when I did this one, I had enough souvenirs to do the whole border of the map. And I think it took about 150 souvenirs. I mean, I'm up to 190 now. So
yeah. Wow. No, that's really, really cool. I really, really like this. So, by the look at this as well, you didn't have any caches in Queensland.
No, back then I don't think I did. No,
that's right. That's first to finds.
But I didn't have any fire. Oh, I might have. Oh no, I had a couple in Brisbane. That was it.
Yeah, you had a couple in Queensland, but no first to finds in Queensland. You got first to finds in every other state, mate. Look at that, and some in the US as well. Good work.
Yes. Yeah.
So going back freaky again. There we go.
But yeah, no. Obviously, with 22,000 fines now, I've got quite a few in Queensland.
Yep.
Before, because we've done a couple of trips there, and through the north of Western Australia's there. Yeah, so certainly last year did a lot of travelling through Queensland, so that's covered. Still got to do a lot more. See, we did Tasmania again before caching.
So you can do it after. Yes.
And do all those again. Just to
exactly. just for those in the chat room right now, I am just posting a Facebook link of it's called Mapped Memories.
Yeah.
And Scott, that's where you got your shirt from, isn't it?
That's where I got the map from.
Or the map from for the shirt. So you got the map from there. Mapped Memories. There it is, guys. Facebook.com/mapped.memories.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I'll put the link in the actual show from there.
So hopefully he'll get back on and start doing them again. But yeah, he was doing one map a week. There's a fair bit of work involved.
Yeah.
But yeah, his computer sort of shut itself back in December last year.
Right.
He's been trying to get back on and doing it, and life's got in the way and all that sort of thing. But he's hoping to get back into it, and hopefully I'll be able to get another one done, maybe at 22,000. So
exactly 22,022. Absolutely. All right, guys, we're going to leave it there. I hope you enjoyed the show, and as I said before, I hope you enjoyed the new platform. It's very, very different, very clean, a lot easier to use from this end. I do believe it looks a little bit better, but as I said before, guys, this it does take money. It does cost monthly accounts for this one, so very different to the old sort of style where it was just all free. So yes. Thanks very much for joining us, Scott. Stay on the line, mate, as we end this broadcast, and we'll have a chat off air. And thank you all for joining up on the live podcast, and we'll see you all next month. And bye for now.